Be on the blighted property tax ordinance. I think 7 mil is a little high, but it looks to me that from reading that, it's comes straight out of the international standard of maintenance. If we just followed the code as the code's written now, we wouldn't have a lot of these problems that we have. So just look at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make it green like that. Okay.
Any other comments on agenda? Yes, sir.
Eric Lewis, 587 North Central Avenue, also known as Beer Girl.
Get the microphone.
Yeah.
Pick up the mic.
Microphone, gets the green light on.
Should be.
There you go.
Speak into it.
Apologies, I'm not used to speaking with the microphone. I'm here to speak about.
Can't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Oh, get closer.
You gotta get closer.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this isn't awkward. I'm here to speak to agenda item 7.4. So you're going to be considering two aspects of the alcohol ordinance tonight. One is a complete rewrite and one is some additions to the alcohol ordinance. We would like you to look at the current alcohol ordinance. You do have some rather good growler language that allowed us to open, and I think it's worth preserving. And we have proposed some additions to that language that we'd like you to consider tonight as part of reviewing this process. And there is a good reason for that. Several communities have looked at what's allowable under the current licensing for growlers through the state. And what you're getting to is a whole lot of things are definable by municipal ordinance. And some of them include aspects like breaking a package, selling of pints, different materials for growlers and such. So we would like you to take a look at what language we proposed and to see if it would fit into the current ordinance as it is. And that way, as you go forward, and we wholly encourage you, not just for ourselves, for all Hapeville businesses, for our friends at Arches, that we need to modernize our alcohol ordinance. But I also am a big proponent of looking at some of the newer municipalities who have had the benefits of newer ordinances, and also looking at what is good in our current ordinance and moving it forward. I think as Michael Randon said to me, when you paint your house, you try to paint one room at a time, because we know that's a pain in the butt to paint the whole house.
Right.
And so if we can take a solid look at what we're proposing and take a solid look at moving forward, I think we will have the best of both worlds. We have made a solid commitment to Hapeville. It's hard to believe we've only been here 15 months. It seems like a lifetime so far, but in a good way. In a good way. We have committed ourselves to Hapeville. Our future is with Hapeville, and you know, as I'm off to tell the story of how we came to Hapeville, East Point was a disappointment. I know that's a shock. But when we reached out to College Park in Hapeville, Allie came back within a half hour of an initial email, and from then on we were on the Hapeville train because of the immediate response we got and the warm welcome we felt. And as much as enough, we love being here. We are continuing our commitment to the community, and we want you to be the best city that you can because we are invested in you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right, any other comments on agenda items?
Real quick, I know we're behind. Susan Stone, 431 Walnut Street. On the State of the City address, you didn't mention the Academy Theater renovation project as a 2016 project. What is the status of that?
Where are we with that, William?
I'll be happy to address that, Mr. Mayor.
Sure, please.
We are currently We're currently arguing with insurance companies, and as soon as we have completed those conversations, we will know how much funding we have, and then we'll have to go forward with a redesign of the project, and then get it back on track. So I'm in fact made a phone call today before I came to the meeting to check up on the status with the insurance company, and basically I'm going to be talking with the council about setting some deadlines. If we don't hear back from them by X date,
Yeah.
then we'll
It's
sue them.
legal action time.
Yeah, then
Because
we'll just send them a court notice.
Been dragged
And,
and dragged and dragged.
So basically, once we know what we'll be getting to work with, then we can start the process back up again. So that's what the delay is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Mr. Beard. I know you just catch stuff about that name all the time,
My name is Daniel Beer. Is this good?
but are you
Everybody
good?
can hear?
Yeah.
I'm with Arches Brewing, which is 3361 Dogwood Drive. I'm also here to speak on the agenda item 7.4. If you guys would like, we can speak at the time, or whatever you guys prefer.
It's really just, we're kind of in a discussion phase right now, because we do know, as comments have come up, there is some modernization needs to be done. And we're trying to be efficient with taxpayer dollars. That's why we asked the attorney for a flat rate price, and then that prompted the discussion we had earlier. And so we're trying to find the best way to do this. Is it going to be more beneficial for us to piecemeal the individual needs as they're coming up, or to do a total rewrite, or a hybrid? And I'm personally thinking a hybrid is probably going to be the best approach, but that's something council will have to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, we agree with the former comments. There might be different methods to go about that, looking at other brand new municipalities and how they treat different codes.
I've been in meetings, in fact, I'm going to talk about this in a minute, for the transportation splosh, and the next meeting I go to with all the new city mayors, I'm going to try to corner them. After I was going to talk to them today, and they all scattered after the meeting, because it was a long, monotonous meeting. But I'm going to try to corner some of the newer municipalities and say, hey, how have these been working for you? You got any red flags, any concerns, any problems? And get a feel from them as to how that's been working. And then, of course, I think there's some legislation being talked about microbreweries.
It's currently not going to be on the table right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
But our concern from Arches is that with an overhaul, is just the timeline.
Right.
We came in the city and I've had discussions with Chief Blavasek. He's given me a lot of time. I really appreciate it. We didn't know coming in that there were ordinances that would bar us from having events at our microbrewery. No other microbreweries in Georgia are barred from doing these kind of events. And these are events that allow an individual to rent out a microbrewery for the purposes of a party. That would be the individual renting it out, and then they bring in alcohol to the party. We don't provide alcohol unless they buy it from a distributor. We would have to take it out of our back door and then bring it back in. That's how antiquated Georgia law is.
Right.
But our big concern was, that's part of our business plan. We thought that that would be okay in Hapeville. We just didn't know of any other jurisdiction. But we understand there are some laws that were passed in the 2000s that kind of stopped that, ordinances that stopped that. It's our understanding too that Hapeville, by modernizing, would allow us to do those things, we've always had so much support from Hapeville, we wouldn't want to be anywhere else. But our concern is just timeline, because we have companies such as Delta, Porsche coming to us and asking, hey, we want to do events in your space immediately. We built it into our business plan. We're just worried about the timeline. And if we're looking at the email in regards to the 60-day, 90-day, 120 days, and that hasn't even been agreed to for the rewrite, we're concerned about how long it's going to take for those to go, any of those changes to go into effect. I proposed in some emails, and I can do a formal presentation at some point, a simple one-liner at the end of the microbrewery ordinance, which was passed a few months ago, that just exempts breweries, microbreweries, from all the ordinances that right now are the ordinances that are keeping microbreweries back from doing these things. We are one of the most heavily regulated companies probably in Hapeville. We are federally licensed, we are state licensed, and we're locally licensed. It's taken over a year. We're about to get our license. We started last May. So we are very responsible, and we just want the same opportunities as all other breweries. And in our mind, if the goal is to allow us to do these things eventually, depending on when the rewrite will occur, then there's a very quick and easy way to make that happen so that we won't be suffering as a business in the meantime. And
That's why I say I think the hybrid approach might be the best.
Yeah, and I'll be happy to work with anybody. I can draft it for free. I mean, I can draft some things and propose it for free, so.
You hear that, Steve? Lori?
So simple.
That's
Free draft from the beer man.
All right, any other comments on agenda items? Okay. All right, we will move into old business, and first item up is discussion of the T-SPLOST, which is Transportation Special Local Option Sales Tax. Myself, along with 13 other mayors, have been working with the Fulton County Commission to try to agree on language for a bill to be dropped this year in the legislative session to bring to vote a transportation SPLOST for Fulton County. MARTA is going to be, they're dropping a bill also for a transportation, a SPLOST for MARTA construction. The problem is MARTA has hijacked our local T-SPLOST discussions and has got municipalities now divided on how we split the 1 penny tax that hadn't even been voted on yet. So we thought we were in pretty good agreement last week until Mayor Reed from the City of Atlanta. We've probably had, William, 20 meetings about that?
Yes.
Mayor Reed decided to come to his first one last week. And he told us what we were going to do, and then that created some divide. So at our meeting today, basically, Atlanta favors a 50-50 split. This is 5-year money. They favor a 50-50 split with 50% going to MARTA, 50% going to the cities. The other cities are predominantly in favor of a 75-25 split, where 75% goes to the cities, 25% goes to MARTA, because most of MARTA's projects are long-term projects, so they're not 5-year type projects. Long story short, the decision was made by the body today to go ahead and get the MARTA bill dropped, and so we're working with the legislature to get that dropped, and then we're going to come back and continue the discussion of the split on the tax for the municipalities, for the other cities. So
For this year?
it would be on the ballot in November.
So that means if it passes, MARTA's gonna get something.
Well, MARTA's got their own. There's two.
Yeah.
There's one specifically for MARTA.
Okay.
That's long-term,
Okay.
like a 30 years,
50.
50, yeah, so yes, right, it's 50. It's 50-year money, and ours is 5-year with a renewal. You vote to renew every 5 years.
Okay.
So, but really, what we originally wanted was MARTA to stay out of it. They get their money over here and let us locally have the funds for our own use, but that's not the way it works. So, I know that's confusing. I'm trying to condense a lot of stuff into a short period of time, but it was for me today, it was a very frustrating process. Because
If there's no consensus by this spring, so that we could hold public meetings and put together a list of projects and join the Fulton County interlocal agreement, then I think the whole process is going to fall apart, and
It's
there
possible.
wouldn't even be a vote.
it's possible it could go out in 2017.
Doesn't this